Salute, peace, love, and greetings. I'm just, waiting to build up a little bit. I'm gonna talk anyways, regardless of who's in the building and who's not. I have some things that I truly need to say, truly bother me, but I'm just gonna give it a few minutes. I know it's probably a lot going on out there, huh? A lot of dysfunction. But I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, y'all inferior to Jay Derek, not me. Let me tell you things because when I he's a white man and he has more power and he has power. People only have the power that you give them over you. Let me repeat that. A person or a group of people can only have the power that you give them, that you allow them to have over. I wasn't raised that way. Get a little bit deeper into that in just, but I mean, y'all God, right? If you believe in God, then how can you put any man or woman above yourself? God is supposed to be the only. God is supposed to go. So when I hear people saying, "Oh, well, he's a white man, so he can do this," or this or that, you're actually saying that that's the needs. You're actually saying that you're not valuable as he is. You're actually saying cares more about him than I cares about you. You're actually giving a man or a group of people more power over yourself. And for anybody that believes in a higher power, that's just not the way. So as I stated, nobody's inferior. I'm not inferior to anybody. Nobody has than myself. So people really saying that because basically you're sitting there in front of people telling them that you're enslaving to them, that that you're weak, that you depend upon them instead of standing up. Now, I stepped away and came back a while back ago, and this was during the time of Sir King, right? So, Sir King, I hear everybody, oh, he caused Billie Jean to lose her job. Oh, the N word. Oh, this. So, I'm like, okay, well, I was over there supporting Sir King at the time. And I'm like, okay, well, and Sir King seems to be intelligent. So, and we had, a rapport and communication at the time. So I'm just like, okay, let me step up and show them how to do something. If you have a problem, how to do something about your problem instead of sitting back and complaining. So, we began to like step up against Jason. Only to after putting in so much effort and stuff to be called a militant by Sir King and still look at it today. Nothing has been done, and nothing has been done, and he's still over there complaining. Still over there complaining. Remember, he was calling New Mexico. He was doing all of this other stuff. And, and then so I look at it now, inferiority complex. Sir King was inferior and it still is inferior to Jason. I'm not. And no, I'm not a militant. I'm not a racist. And let me tell you one of the biggest reasons why I'm not a racist, because my third great grandfather is a Jew. My third great grandfather is a Jew. And they recognized us back in the day. Now it's a whole different story because a lot of my Jewish cousins, they dropped the ball. Most of us, the black descendants, we're still holding it up. We're still holding down. We're still holding it down. But yeah, my third great grandfather, um, Captain J. Scherer, is a Jew. And I know Jew is not a race, it's a religion. But that's, like in the books and in the articles and stuff, that's what he is. He's a Jew. So, and I'm not pro-black. I'm pro-black progressive. And I'm really more black women empowerment than anything, as we call it, B1. And all that means is I want just like everybody else is tribal and they want their people to do better, just like your family. You want the best for your family. You want your family to do best. It's the same thing. The world been operating on tribalism. So it's just like I want my people to do better. I want my people to progress. I'm going to do anything in my power to, help lead my people, to do my part in motivating my people to be progressive. And that's all that means. It doesn't mean that you dislike, hate, or anything else of another race. Now, in terms of Jason saying the N word, I met Jason on the Wiley Show a while back. We used to call in all the time. We used to hold down the Wiley Show's channel, Wiley Show's show. Me, him, and TC. And we were having political talks. And, back then we talked about history and everything. And I was telling Jason, uh, um, my Black Indian heritage. And he was like, oh, you're a genius. So I met him and we had political talks. He told me he was a African American studies major. So like I didn't initially have that impression of Jason. And yes, I do not like that N word at all. I'm gonna be the first. Let him know I don't like the N word. But I personally, sort of liked communicating and having conversations with Jason because he was intelligent. So when everybody else began to say that, he was a racist and the N word, and then he got Billie Jean fired from her job and that he was doing all of these different things to Black women. Now I know, yeah, Jews, they are misogynists. They can't, that's the entrance way into misogyny, which most of these religions are. Most of these religions really they push patriarchy through these religions because before religions there was spirituality in all of these continents, on all of these landmass. In ancient society it was spirituality and the world was a matriarch. That's right, women ruled everything, from Africa to, if you do your history and go way back, and this is the history that they don't like to talk about in the conscious community. This is the history that most people don't like to talk about. But the world was a matriarch, even in ancient America, the Mayan, the Incas, the Aztecs. We were a matriarch. Even now, with my tribe, my Black tribe, my chief, he's a male, but he let me know that we were a matriarch. He said there's supposed to be a woman chieftainess or what our chief. So we're backwards. And, that's one of the biggest reasons I fight for women empowerment and a lot of different things because, colonization is through the mind. And just like, I'm talking about my third great grandfather, Captain J. Scherer. Well, basically, he became my grandfather through colonization. Colonization, and that's not slavery. Colonization is where, they began to use trickery, to take over the land, to take over the land mass. and then they moved their politics and different things of that nature because we had our own way of operating and we had our own language. We didn't speak English. So in terms of communicating with them, that's why they said, they got the Indians drunk and took the land. They got us drunk, and a bunch of people signed treaties, or this happened, and a bunch of people signed some treaties or whatever. But even when you look at the treaties, it still does not give them the full ultimate control. But that was colonization, not slavery. And pretty much a lot of this stuff happens through mind manipulation and the fact that people are not educated. They don't read, well, the fact that we don't know, and it's easy to trick somebody. It's easy to tell somebody, like, they're around here telling us who we are. They're around here, like the religion. Oh, making women subservient. They do things like that, but you have to critically think. You have to do your research and education, and you have to like stand, because like my highest source, says I'm everything, and I'm not supposed to be inferior or subservient to anybody. So once again, I'm going to say y'all are inferior to a group of people, not me. Y'all are inferior to Jason Poderick, not me. Not me at all. And it saddens me to hear people say that. That's like, and then on the flip side, you're inferior to this group of people, but you're crab in a barrel. You have slave mentalities when it comes down to your own people. You want to pull them down when you see them going high or reaching up or trying to succeed, instead of looking at, if they go up, then they can reach down and get me. And then flip side, we have had a lot of people who go high and don't reach down to get any of their people, to pull any of their people up. Instead, they want to sit on some kind of fake throne or something. And that's just not the way the world has ever operated. The world operated off of a system of everybody helping everybody. You had people that went out there and hunt and fish. You had people that stayed and cooked. You had people that took care of the children. You had people that, people in place to do everything. And back in ancient society, you were picked by your skill set. You were picked by your talent. You were picked by your strengths. And so, just looking at, I just need people to do better. If you're inferior to anybody, that means you're insecure within yourself and you need to do better. Somewhat like some of these men are when it comes down to studs. And it's always been that way. You can tell an inferior, anybody that comes against studs or that comes against lesbians, a lot of times any man, a lot of times that's because they're insecure within themselves. Because how are we bothering you with our lifestyle? They're insecure. They have problems within themselves. Just like Prime. He has a problem within himself. I know that for a fact because I have had to defend this dude. And then now he out here like he King Kong or whatever, It's funny. But he has an insecurity. And so, he hates. And that's where, a lot of this hate comes from. It comes from insecurity. It comes from being inferior. Because just like they said, like the black women hating on black women, that means that like a lot of people I've heard say bad bees don't do that. That's right. If you're secure within yourself, what's for you is for you. And what's for everybody else is for everybody else. And a real queen would straighten another person's queen. A real queen would straighten another person's crown, not try to knock it off or tear it down. And that's the truth of the matter. So a lot of times, people need to start looking within themselves because a lot of these issues are deep rooted within yourself. And we have a lot of mental illness, a lot of, traumatized people. I mean, I've been through things myself and I work on healing every day. That's why sometimes I step back. That's why you can't help anybody else until you help yourself. You can't love anybody else until you love yourself. So, like if you're not straight, how is your children? How is anybody, your family? How is anybody else how are you going to help any of your loved ones be straight? How are you going to help anybody else? Because you're not together. So, like people need to focus on themselves a lot. A lot. And that's why things are so crazy. And it's only gonna get worse. I mean, we're gonna see some, man. And then people are still fighting from little small things that happened 5, 6 years ago, and here it is still today. We got people running around in groups and camps on hate campaigns. And then it's like all y'all, like the majority of these people hands are dirty. There are no clean hands. So there's not no one bad person. Everybody's bad. Like I can't really say too much about some of the things that I've seen Derek do because y'all do it. That's what other people are saying. Y'all do the same thing. A lot of y'all are doing the same thing. That's 2 wrongs, 3 wrongs, 5 wrongs. Wrong is wrong at the end of the day, and somebody got to be mature. Somebody got to have, like the common sense. Somebody got to be bigger. And like I said, if you're putting somebody above yourself, if you got an inferiority complex, something is wrong with you because the first law of nature is self-preservation. And you can't, if you don't hold yourself in I ain't gonna say the highest regard because that conceitedness, narcissism, and all of that comes from thinking that that type of thinking. I'm saying to the point that if somebody else can do it, you can too. If somebody else is important, you are too. If somebody else that you're no less than anybody else. You're no less than anybody else, and you're, just as great as everybody else. And I'm confused about saying whether I'm better than somebody or sometimes too. I'm pretty humble. So a lot of times I look at myself as even ground. I don't look at, like, oh, this, that. Even when it comes down to celebrities and people, I don't look at them as greater than me. I just look at them like they had an opportunity, they took it, and that was the way that they should go. That was what they were supposed to do. But we were all put here for a God-given mission and a reason. We're not here on earth for no reason at all. We're here for a reason. If you find your own reason, find why you're here, spiritually connect to yourself and find out why you're here living and what's your mission and your purpose, then things will start being a lot better because you'll realize that what's for them is for them and what's for you is for you. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say because like I said, every time I hear that, it's like mentally in the B sector and these black sectors, most sector, whatever, I hear a lot of slave minded talk. I hear a lot of inferiority. Even when it comes down to genders, no man has a right to God, women are the portals to life, the womb. So like even with that, I don't believe in that. I do not believe that, men are more superior than women, no. And all of that blah, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. And when you start doing scientific research, when you start doing all this research, you realize it's not true either. Yeah, I got stuff on my page already about that kind of stuff. And no, I don't hate men, and I will help men. I support men. I have men in my family. I don't like dysfunctional men. I don't like men that hurt other people. I don't like that type of stuff. I don't like dysfunctional men. I don't like abusive men. I don't like, men, men that care more about themselves, that selfish and narcissistic than, upholding and taking care of the black children or taking care of children in the race and the women, because men are supposed to be the protectors and the providers. They're supposed to go out and hunt. They're supposed to protect the tribe. And instead, they want the protection. Instead, they want somebody to provide for them. They all up in these pocketbooks, not thinking about how these children gonna get cereal, how these children gonna get school clothes. They just want the money to be coming out pocketbooks into their wallet so they can buy, some rims, some cars, some stuff that don't mean nothing. That ain't gonna help us in no kind of way. Not, investing in a corporation, not investing in economics. Not, and that's why we're at the bottom of the totem pole economically. That's why. This is why we're not advancing. And this is why, yes, Black women have been out here doing their thing. And yes, I am supporting it. If that's the only way that we're going to be able to go, yes, I'm supporting it. And they're out here because they know the statistics of Black women graduating more, Black women being, owning more businesses and stuff. They're out here trying to tear Black women down physically, spiritually, economically, in any way possible, instead of standing up and being the type of men that they're supposed to be. Anybody is a male. Not all people classify as a man. Then they get mad because, I'm a woman. But if I have to fill some shoes, I will. I'm a woman, but if I have to fill some shoes, I will. I feel like that's one of our purposes, is to fill in shoes, fill in an empty gap. And God don't make no mistakes. But until next time, I just had to get that off my chest real quick. I just come through, roll through, get it off my chest. It's documented. I don't care who, supports or whatever. I'm gonna come back and start doing some bigger things. I have other things that I'm working on now, but like from time to time, I just need to let it off. I need to vent, and so this was just one of my vent sessions. Um, I have some stuff set up that I'm gonna have to go back and revisit, uh, like the polite situation. I just wanted to be really in depth when it came down to that. And it's just about over now. Um, just about over now where like I could really shine a light on, a lot of things. Um, so like I said, until next time, and I try to do things spiritually as well. Like I let the spirit lead me. Spirit led me to do this, so I try to let the spirit lead me. But like until next time, I like to say peace, love, and light, peace, love, and happiness, all love, high vibrations, and this is QI, and I'm out.